Hello and good evening, everybody. It's Sunday Spotlight once again. I have a feeling it's going to be dark here pretty soon by the time we start these,
Yeah,
maybe at some point. But anyway, welcome everybody.
that
Sunday
also means it'll be
Spotlight.
cooler, so that's okay. I'll be
Yeah,
okay with it being dark.
we're still in triple digits, like
It's like
like 105,
ridiculous.
108, or whatever it
It
was
was
today.
108
It
today.
was not good, not good. But anyway, welcome to Sunday Spotlight, like I said. So we're excited because we're talking about the GLP-1 product. I think it's day 36 or 7
Or
right now,
eight
or 8,
or
something like that. But
we're
incredible
into it.
results, and I'm looking forward to make. So the whole thing tonight is to make this simple.
Hmm.
Make it simple to talk about, make it simple to understand, so you have a basic, simple understanding of what GLP-1 is, why we need to know about it, and then also how simple and literally easy this system is to
Yeah,
benefit from, to
yeah.
take and benefit from.
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
so guys, we know that you can't always be on here with us live, but tonight I think that we should do something a little special for those that are here with us live.
What do you got in
I
mind?
think that we should
This
do.
just this is impromptu, by the
It
way.
is.
I'm
It's
always
always
fearful when she comes up
impromptu.
with something
But
on the
I think at
fly.
the end we should do a mini Q&A with those
Okay.
that are on here with us live on
Okay.
Zoom
Well,
because they should have the opportunity to be able to get some questions answered
okay.
if they have
Yeah.
them and if it's within our
It's
limits of
within
our
yeah,
NDA.
within our
Right.
NDA.
So I think absolutely. So guys, thanks for hopping on Zoom with us. We appreciate you guys being here. And remember that the recording is always housed on the Team Freedom Reigns YouTube channel, as well as we were be able to successfully stream this into the Team Freedom Reigns Facebook page. So the recording will also be there. So congratulations to
Yeah.
last week's top enrollers. Congratulations.
We have Kellyanne Chippendale, 643. We have Pratiti Pathak, 406, and Melanie Robbins, 274. So you got
Congratulations.
decimal points in
Yeah,
there even.
well, the reason is because we have this really amazing sell that's going on. And with the sell, obviously, the volume is also adjusted some with that
Cool.
too. So, but congratulations on the top enrollers from this last week. Next week, we will have the top enrollers from the month. So, congratulations.
Yeah.
And let's all go. I mean, we still have days with this sell and moving into this launch. I hope you're all running with your hair on fire because this is going to, what we do in the next 12 days is going to completely determine what's going to happen for you in the next 12 years in your business. So we hope that you guys are all as excited as we are moving forward. So this week at a glance, there is a lot going on. So tomorrow, of course, be on the lookout for the Monday Momentum email that's going to have all of the announcements as well as where to log in and go watch the different things that are happening throughout the week. On Tuesday is going to be the Momentum Live. That's at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And they have been having us hop on with them live on Tuesday mornings on Zoom. So make sure that you're watching your email to get the details for that. And then Tuesday night is also the time that we are going to have the activated weight loss special Zoom with Brian and Holly Highfield, Kazi Till, and then Don D and myself. And so we are so excited because this is a call that you can be inviting all of your prospects, all of your current customers, and past customers, as well as your current consultants on your team and past people that have been part of your organization, because this is a call that is going to get people excited about what's coming, helping them understand why GLP is so important, as well as hearing, some of the testimonials, as well as seeing some of the before and after photos that have come from the Club 55, which is the 55 people that are part of the second trial, as Don D and I are. So there are details in your email. We sent out an email a couple days ago, but they're also right here in this photo. So please, you can take a screenshot of this. It's Tuesday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And the Zoom ID is just simply the Zoom ID, no password necessary. And then on Wednesday, we have the Why LifeVantage Why Now opportunity presentation. And those details will be coming out tomorrow in the Monday Momentum email as well. Anything you want to share on here?
Nope.
Nope.
Just looking forward
You
to
just
it.
look like you had. All right, so this is the promotion that we were just talking about, that why there was those decimal points in the volume for people for this last week. This is an end of month promotion that is fantastic. fantastic. You can actually get most products on sale up to 30% off. So it's 30% off retail, 20% off of customer subscription pricing, and 20% off of consultant pricing. So the lowest price you'll ever get these products at. It does not include the Protandim family of products, as well as the True Science Liquid Collagen, or any of the stacks that include any of those products. But it does include all the hair care, the skin care, the Axio, and all of the above board supplements that we offer here at LifeVantage. Now, keep in mind that this sale does end at close of day tomorrow, Monday, September. Oh, yeah, that is September. Oh my gosh, I am so confused on when it is. Time is going so fast. It's like, oh, that's next month. No, we're in September. We're at the end of September now. So make sure that you, first of all, are taking advantage of these activation day deals yourself, and that you're promoting it out to all of your customers, all your consultants, and all of your prospects. This is a great way to get them started on some of these products now before they're on GLP-1 mix. Hello. Let's see who we've got. Mute. All right, here we go. We also still have the opportunity to earn extra money by enrolling new consultants in the month of September. You can earn 10% extra on top of what you normally would earn when you bring in a new consultant in the month of September. So you have today and tomorrow to take advantage of that Share LifeVantage Now promotion. I'm excited for this cruise.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that means we have to qualify. We all need to qualify because we all need to be going on this together next August. The details to be able to earn the points to be able to qualify for this cruise that will be on the Norwegian Bliss going to Alaska in August of 2025 can all be found either on the TFR YouTube channel or on the Facebook page under featured. There's a training piece there for you that breaks it all down, where you need to earn the points, and just how to go do it. Okay, so make sure that you go and check out that recording. And then the ITT with push play. I know we keep saying this, but this is the basics, guys. This is running the play, right? We're going to do ITT with push play. You're going to go green, meaning become an emerald seller, and then help another person do that, building your team. Now, I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that there is a new file added to the Team Freedom Reigns board that has all kinds of GLP-1 information in it. It's got the before and after photos. It's got the videos that have been coming out, whether it is the Q&A or it's the doctor videos. Those are all uploaded into that board file for you under GLP-1. So make sure that you go use this QR code to join the Team Freedom Reigns board. And there is a specific training that was done on ITT with push play videos. That recording, again, is on YouTube, or you can find it on the Team Freedom Reigns Facebook page under the featured posts. Okay, Market Connect. How excited are you for Market Connect?
Extremely.
Can we tell them the secret about you?
If you like.
This guy gets to present from the big stage on Friday. He gets to give you the doctor's perspective on GLP-1. So be super excited. Make sure that you are registered. Come and support him, right? Because we would love to support him. Would love to have you there with us. But more importantly, you need to come for yourself. You need to come for your business. You need to come for your legacy, and you need to come for those people that are waiting for you to bring this information to them. Because at Market Connect, you are going to get all of the new product information and training before everybody else. You're going to be able to taste the products there in the store, as well as get your set first before everybody else, and then just getting the opportunity to participate in this launch, because it's going to be the biggest one in LifeVantage history. So make sure that you're registered. It is $99 now for registration, and I believe they're closing registration pretty quickly.
That's what they said.
Yeah. So if you're not registered, please make sure you go and get registered, because if you've got your hotel and your flight and you haven't registered yet, you may not get a registration unless you go and do it right now. Okay, so if you don't have a space to sleep, reach out. We'll try to get you connected with somebody. We've got to make sure that you are there at this event. And then, of course, at 1 p.m., the day that the event starts on Friday, the 11th, we will be meeting at 1 p.m. I have not done an updated picture of those of you that are registered yet. So if you are registered and you're not in that list, let us know that you're registered. And we also need to know if you plan on joining us at 1 p.m. before the event starts to get your before photos and measurements done. We want to help you so that you're prepared so that you can get started on the system the very next day. Because you're going to want to, right?
Absolutely.
But you got to make sure that you're tracking and you're documenting this properly, because it will be a valuable tool having your own before and after photos.
And measurements.
Yes.
Wish I would have done measurements.
I wish you would have too. But your pants, your daddy's pants.
Right.
If you guys haven't seen those pictures, you've got to go to Facebook and either look on my profile or on Dondi's profile, because it's hilarious. Or you could just utilize the GLP-1 boards and go to the before and after photos and get them for yourself and start using them, right? And then on Tuesday after the Market Connect, we are going to do everything Market Connect. Combined again with Brian and Holly Highfield and Kazi's teams, we are all going to come together to be able to share what happened at the event, make sure that you guys know what you should be doing, what you should be plugging into. So make sure that you invite every consultant to join this call. This will be a consultant's call. So there will be training. There's going to just be going over the announcements and what you should be doing next. Okay. So make sure that you are saving the date. This is on the 15th. And it will be taking the place of the Sunday spotlight call that would normally be happening on the 13th, because we'll be traveling that night. So this will be the team call that week. It will be on Tuesday night, October 15th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Can't wait to see you guys there, because that means that everybody's going to have the products in their hands already. So, all right. And here we go. I'm going to let you take over here.
All right. So keeping GLP-1 simple, that's really what we need to be focusing on. Because if we make it too complex, or if we don't understand it and when we try to talk to people about it, we're going to get ourselves in some trouble. And we're going to get people asking questions they probably would not have asked. And so we got to keep it simple. And so keeping it simple is going to be incredibly important to understand the basics of what this is, how to talk about it, and then also the simplicity of using the product. So what you must know and why. So what GLP-1, what is it simply? It's a hormone. It's a hormone your body produces under very specific conditions. And it's when you eat food, or what is called postprandial. That's the medical term for after you eat food. When you eat food and there's food in your stomach senses that there's food there. So what does it do? It actually sends a message to the L cells, L like Larry or L like lunch. So like you just ate your lunch. So L cells in your intestines, the stretch receptors in the stomach send a signal to the L cells of the small intestine that's like, hey, there's some food coming your way. So the L cells send a signal to the pancreas that says, hey, you better produce some insulin. I just heard from the stomach there's some food coming down, and we need to make sure that our muscles and everything benefits from this. So you need some insulin to bind with the glucose, which the body breaks down so we can absorb the food as fuel, which is what glucose is to your muscles. So that's kind of how that system works. And there's also a simultaneous signal that gets sent to the brainstem. It's like, hey, we got food down here, stop the hunger signal. So when you stop the hunger signal and you eat when you're satiated, which is called increasing your satiety, that's what the brainstem does. Now you're going to stop eating. You no longer are hungry. It quiets the food noise and you're less likely to snack. It's this whole gut-brain axis. And so it's incredibly wise. Your body does it naturally, always has, always will, until we get obese or overweight, and then GLP-1 just stops being made because we buck the system. So we have a normal system of eating, and that is when blood sugar gets low, you get hungry, and when you get hungry, you eat some food, and when you eat some food, the food goes in the stomach. When the stomach sees that it's there, feels that it's there, it sends a signal to the intestines. You've got food coming down. The intestines send a signal to the pancreas. The pancreas produces insulin. And then when the food comes out of the stomach, when it's delayed too, because the GLP-1 delays the food coming out of the stomach to make you feel fuller longer, which is a normal strategic thing your body does naturally, always has, always will, until we mess up the system. Well, how do we mess up the system? We eat food when we're not hungry.
Mm.
We eat food when we're visually prompted to. Like we see it, we're watching a football game or we're watching something on TV and a nice fast food restaurant commercial comes up or a Red Baron pizza commercial comes up or somebody eating Doritos or whatever it is and we're not hungry, but we just got visually stimulated to eat. So you run to the refrigerator, run to the pantry, run, go get something to eat, and you're eating when you're not hungry. In other words, there's no signal there to eat. There's no blood sugar that's low. And so once you keep doing that over and over and over, and you start having all of this extra glucose, you don't have enough insulin to break it down and absorb it. We start getting pre-diabetic and then diabetic, and then we get overweight. Then we have all high cholesterol, heart disease risk, and all these other things that come along with that. Well, what is all of that? It's unnatural eating. That's exactly what it is. When we eat unnaturally, we pay the consequences. And the more overweight and obese we get, the less that GLP-1 is actually produced, even when you eat. And so there's no off switch. You just eat and eat and eat and eat and put on extra pounds and extra pounds and extra pounds. And it's this vicious cycle. So what is GLP-1 simply? It is a hormone your body produces when you eat that stops you from eating when you're not when you're full or when you're satiated, you have enough food in there for your body to actually benefit from, quiets the food noise, stops the cravings, and that's what it really is simply. So it just stops you when you're done eating, not when you think you're done eating or you're visually done eating. When you've eaten enough food in your stomach, it gets to the brainstem, stop eating, you stop eating, your body produces the insulin the way it's supposed to, and everybody benefits. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's the simple nature of how it is. But it's simply a hormone. Your stomach, when you have food in your stomach that your L cells produce, that your pancreas produces, and your brainstem produces after eating.
You know, one of the things that I really liked and what I've learned is that when GLP-1 is functioning properly, it helps to increase insulin while at the same time reducing glucagon, right?
Yeah.
And so that balances out the blood sugars, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people that don't have GLP-1, then their insulin's not being released properly. Glucagon's way increased. And that's where the problems come in with high blood sugars.
Yeah, system that battles itself. Because what glucagon, think of it this way. When glucose is gone, and glucose is sugar in your blood coming from carbohydrates. So when your body breaks down carbohydrates, it breaks it down into glucose. Glucose binds with the insulin. Insulin is absorbed into your muscles, and it burns the glucose as fuel. But when glucose is gone, the pancreas produces produces glucagon, which stimulates the hunger cycle. So glucagon is what the pancreas produces when the glucose is gone. And so it's glucagon-like peptide. So when glucose is gone, your body releases glucagon. And glucagon breaks down fat, breaking down fat to produce glucose. So it's in times of when you're not eating. So if you're not eating, blood glucose goes down. When glucose is gone, you got two scenarios. You get triggered to hunger or you break down fat. So when it's in between meals or it's not the right time to eat. This is the whole thing about the specialized GLP-1. When there's no food cravings because you're not that kind of hungry, it's too close in between meals. You've got a very efficient metabolism. It breaks down fat. Your body breaks down fat to produce glucose. So your body can use it that way. So it's for when you're fasting or when you're not eating. It's just a secondary way of getting glucose, but it also breaks down fat. And it's very, very healthy for you to do that.
Yeah. So GLP-1 is very, very important, guys.
Yes, totally.
It's very important for your wellness, for your weight management, for your lifestyle. It's very important. So what does
GLP-1 do? It stimulates insulin secretion. So after you eat, like I said, food's in the stomach, sends a signal to the L cells, which send a signal to the pancreas to produce insulin. So stimulating insulin secretion so your body can absorb that carbohydrates that turn it into glucose. But it also regulates blood sugar. How does it do that? The insulin binds with the glucose, which absorbs into the muscles and the fat tissue getting out of the blood, which regulates your blood sugar or lowers your blood sugar. The whole thing about blood sugar and the reason why we have insulin and glucagon is to balance your blood sugar. You don't want spikes and drops. You want balanced blood sugar. So if your glucose is high, insulin is secreted to drop your insulin levels or drop your glucose levels, and so it gets absorbed into the muscles. Well, when there's no circulating glucose anymore and it starts to drop, glucagon goes up, breaking down fat, putting more glucose into the blood supply to again be absorbed. So the whole thing is to regulate blood sugar. What does that mean? Keep it ideally level or keep it balanced. Balancing blood sugar is what that is. It slows gastric emptying. What does that mean? So you stay fuller longer. The sensation of the food in the stomach, it slows it down. It slows down the stomach emptying. So you feel the sensation of being full longer, or that satiety as it's called. Also, it increases the feeling of satiety. That's what slowing gastric emptying does.
When you say satiety, I'm like, it's your satisfaction. You're satisfied.
Satiated.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to keep it simple.
And then it inhibits food intake. So when you're full, you don't want to eat anymore. So that's the inhibition, and that comes from the brainstem sending the signal, stop eating. So it inhibits food intake. Those are the 5 primary things that it does. So again, in summary, increases insulin secretion, which regulates your blood sugar, slowing down the gastric emptying, or in other words, the stomach emptying the food contents into the intestines, which increases your feeling of being satisfied because you're not done you're done eating, and that inhibits additional food intake. So those are the 5 primary things that it does, but it does other stuff too, which modern research is now discovering. Check these things out. It's pretty amazing. Enhances mitochondria function. Where else have we heard that? So you mean GLP-1 and NRF1 work together? Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. It's how it's always been when it's working optimally. Now, why mitochondria? What does mitochondria do? It produces ATP, which is the cell's energy, and also glucose, which is the muscle's energy. So when those things are in balance, and it balances blood sugar, balances metabolism, it's an incredible thing. So it improves metabolic function, or it improves your metabolism, but it also promotes cell rejuvenation. So that's the mitochondria in action. Cells are getting rejuvenated. What does that mean? What does rejuvenate? Given a new life, getting new energy, more efficient in its process. It also enhances cardiovascular function, because our cardiovascular cells, our heart cells, use lots and lots and lots and lots of mitochondria.
And lots.
And lots. That was 5 lots. Lots of mitochondria, and they burn glucose. So it's important. Improves memory. This is the whole thing about the hypothalamus. So you've heard of the gut-brain axis. So your endocrine system is what balances and regulates your hormones. GLP-1 is a hormone. Insulin is a hormone. Glucagon is a hormone, as well as other hormones. So how does it improve memory? Well, it balances the hormones through the hypothalamic pituitary thyroid axis. And I don't want to get too in depth, but as future research, and I would, if the company doesn't, I will, because I've been reading lots of research lately on what GLP-1 does, the broad spectrum of what GLP-1 does, aside from weight management and weight loss, like improving
so much more,
memory, cognition, attention span, preventing cognitive decline. So they're actually now talking about GLP-1 as a source of longevity, meaning GLP-1 is, yes, it does amazing things with our gut-brain axis and metabolism and feeling full longer and all the things about eating food. But they're now starting to take it in a totally different direction on anti-aging and longevity and the role that it plays. One of the cool things about that really hasn't even been talked about yet outside the circles of weight management and weight loss. GLP-1's a massive buzzword, a massive topic in the weight loss, weight management spectrum, but they haven't really started talking about it yet in the anti-aging and longevity. And I say yet, because as more and more research comes out about that, and guess what? That is exactly our wheelhouse. Anti-aging and longevity is the LifeVantage wheelhouse, and activation is the strategy of how you maximize that wheelhouse. So this just fits perfectly into our lane and why this is going to be a great thing for us.
I'm super excited about it. All right, so who can benefit from it, doctor?
Men can benefit from it. Women can benefit from it. People who know men,
Mm,
people who know women,
mm,
people of normal weight,
mhm,
people who are overweight,
mhm.
basically everybody who's over 35. And this is in my opinion. I'm going to say that because, or people that have a problem with food, who do not have a healthy, mutually beneficial relationship with food at any age.
Why do you say 35?
Because this is a because well thank you for that question. So 35 in my opinion is when we actually start to first to see the signs of aging. So whether that's skin wrinkles, whether it's hair turning gray or falling out or inefficient systems or starting to feel joint pain. So 35 or thereabouts is where people start to feel the aging process. And we don't, again, nobody's talking about it yet in a very loud voice, but it will be very soon. And we may be spearheading this GLP-1 in a discussion of anti-aging and longevity. And that's why I said everyone
Yeah.
over age 35.
Yeah, because people before 35, unfortunately, we're living in a day and age where there are, 18, 19 and older that are being diagnosed with different things that didn't happen until older.
Yeah.
Aging, right? I mean, especially with blood sugar issues and with obesity issues and all that kind of stuff. And so we're not saying that 35 is where you really need to be targeting. No, there are so many people that have the need for GLP-1, as he mentioned in 1 through 6. So 35 is just basically everybody after 35.
Think of it this way. So with regards to being overweight and obese, just that reality, there's so many negative health consequences that are associated with obesity and being overweight. Cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer, things of that, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all of the cognitive issues, diabetes, neuropathy, and all these kinds of things that go along with, basically, they're all a factor of what is called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance leads to lots and lots and lots of problems. And the biggest cause of insulin resistance is being overweight and obese and having not very good rest, not very good movement, not very good hydration, and certainly not very good nutrition. And so processed foods, convenience food, easy to eat foods, and foods with no calorie, or
things that aren't
with
foods.
high calories and no nutritional content, which is what gets people on the fast track, the slippery slope to insulin resistance, and then all the diseases just fall in place.
Yeah.
There's so many what they're called comorbidities. And so the people with insulin resistance are the people that are the most unwell on the planet. And all of that can be turned around by just simply having a good, wholesome relationship and an understanding of what food is, why we need it, and how to maximize the relationship with food. And GLP-1 plays a massive role in that.
Yeah, so I would say that on number 7, where he says everyone over 35 years old, anyone that has any desire whatsoever to have a thriving longevity.
Yeah.
They should, especially in the cognition. And I mean, whether they're overweight or not, everybody should be focused on caring for our brains and caring for our bodies with GLP-1. So it's so much bigger than weight loss, guys. So much bigger. So how do you talk about it simply, Doc?
So the thing that I'm the biggest fan of is just asking questions. And well, think of it this way. When you know the statistics are this, 73% of the US adult population is overweight and 36% are obese. So that's the basic understanding of who are we talking about, or who could we potentially be talking about? And then simply asking, I like this question, how important is your overall health to you? Whether they're overweight or obese, on medications or not, most people would say their health is of relatively strong importance to them and significant importance. And I find that when most people say that, and most people, because more than 50% are overweight, most US Americans are overweight. But if their health is important to them and they're also overweight, what's the disconnect? And the disconnect, in my opinion, and my observation, is simply ignorance. Ignorance about nutrition, ignorance about macros, in other words, fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, and how do they know what is what and where do they get them? What's a good fat? What's a bad fat? What's a good protein? What's a bad protein? What's a good carbohydrate? What's a bad carbohydrate? Most people don't know. So it's what we don't know that's killing us. And that's really a big problem. So when we can find out, well, yes, my health is very important to you, or very important to me. And even though I'm struggling with my weight and I'm struggling with the weight loss journey, I've tried every diet out there. I've tried everything from Jenny Craig to Weight Watchers to the shots that what was that HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, which was popular about 10 years ago, to the liraglutides, the semaglutides, and all those things. People just they're getting hopeless because they don't know what to do. And this is something also with every weight loss journey. If it's weight loss and it's involving a diet or some kind of intervention strategy, every single one, with no exceptions, you'll plateau. So whether you're eating Weight Watchers, because none of those things take the place of healthy lifestyle choices. And that's the problem, is people will, and I saw an Ozempic commercial. It was actually a reel of an Ozempic commercial that was showing this man who was very overweight eating an ice cream, talking about the benefits of GLP-1 receptor agonists, and this specific one was Ozempic. And so it was giving you the subliminal message that you don't have to change anything about your lifestyle, because the guy was not eating a salad, he was eating an ice cream cone. And that was the ad. Continue living the unhealthy lifestyle, take our drug, and you're going to lose weight, which is true, but you will plateau. Your body will figure it out. In fact, you guys have probably already all seen the movie Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park. Go on Google or go on YouTube and look up on just Jurassic Park and the life figures it out scene. And when they're talking about the dinosaur eggs and they made all the dinosaurs female, they said, well, how can you do that? Well, every invertebrate or vertebrate starts out as female, but they deprive them of what turns them into male. And then what's that guy's character? The guy that plays,
I don't know, babe,
the professor. But anyway, I'll think it was the actor. But anyway, he says, no, what you're missing is life always figures it out. And so your body will know when it's being tricked, and it will respond to a certain point until it doesn't respond anymore. And then you'll plateau, and then you'll actually start gaining the weight back. And that's when people get hopeless. And so we have a remedy for that, because this is not an alternative. It's not a natural alternative to those drugs out there. This is this is a lifestyle choice. It's a healthy relationship, a healthy, knowledgeable relationship with food. There's no side effects to that except optimal health. And so how important is your overall health to you? Well, have you heard of GLP-1? Most people that are overweight have, and a lot of them have tried it, and a lot of them have got the benefits and also the side effects that come along with it. Well, what have you done in the past on your weight loss or weight management journey? And then just let them tell you, well, I've tried keto, I tried paleo, I tried the zone diet, I tried the Atkins diet back in the 90s. And the longer that they've been overweight, the more likely they're going to try it. Yeah, the Hollywood diet, or all these things.
So many things.
And most of them work temporarily, but until you change your lifestyle, because diets are not a lifestyle. Diets are a temporary eating way to lose weight, and so are these drugs. And so when you can figure out a lifestyle, and none of the drugs or diets or anything in a short-term intervention is meant to take the place of lifestyle choices, good lifestyle choices. So do you know anyone who struggles with weight? Another great question, because 73% of the US population is overweight and 36% are obese. So that number 4 question, the very strong likelihood, well, of course. Well, would you show them some, or do they struggle enough where they would be open to hearing some information from you? And would you be open to looking at a natural, no shot, no side effect option? Just ask questions, show an interest, be compassionate, show an interest in someone.
I think that you will be really surprised how many people you'll come across that are in the throes of having to make a choice. And it's not necessarily a choice between good and bad. It's just trying to make a better choice than what the other option is. So Tracy Lane, if you guys have heard of her name, she is part of the trial with us in the Club 55, and she was on semaglutide prior to the trial with our GLP-1. And the reason why she had decided to start using semaglutide wasn't because she was obese. No, she had gained weight, but her doctor, she was borderline diabetic because she had become insulin resistant. And so her choice was either let it continue going the way it was and potentially become diabetic, or deal with the side effects of semaglutide. And so she decided on semaglutide, which worked great for her for a year. But at that year point, that's what Dondi was saying. Her body figured it out and she plateaued, and she wasn't getting, she wasn't losing any more weight. She was starting to have some side effects that she did not like. She was not feeling well, all kinds of things there. And so when you're asking these questions of people, don't be worried about asking the questions. You just might be showing up at exactly the right time to give them a better option in those choices, right? Instead of them having to choose between, hey, I'm going to become diabetic, or I'm going to go on a drug that's going to have side effects that's not going to get me the benefits I need anyway. How about that third option that is naturally derived, no shots included, no side effects? It's going to work with the body instead of having the body object to it, and it's affordable. Guys, you are going to be answering the prayers of so many people by bringing a solution to a major problem that they're being faced with right now. Don't be worried about asking the questions. Just ask the questions. So how simple is this system to use? I will tell you, it is the most simple thing that we have added into our lifestyle that has made all the difference for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously, it's like this has been the easiest thing. I mean, we have a bottle of the capsules that sits on our sink in our bathroom so that when we wake up in the morning, he gets up before I do by a couple hours. But when he gets up, he takes 2 capsules, he pops them in his mouth, and he drinks it with a full glass of water, which in the morning, you should be drinking a full glass of water when you first wake up anyway, because throughout the night, your body is utilizing all of the hydration that you did yesterday. And more than likely, you are on the verge of dehydration when you wake up anyway. And so you should be drinking that glass of water anyway. So now you're just going to be popping those 2 capsules first thing in the morning before any calorie intake. You cannot have any calories before you take the 2 capsules in the morning. And then you're going to wait a minimum of 30 minutes before you take in any calories. My first calories of the day is generally about an hour after I've taken my capsules for the GLP-1. And it is a combination of our Axio Daily Wellness and prebiotic. That's what I have as my first calories. And I don't eat until after noon, until like sometimes 1 o'clock or whenever it is. But that's when I'm really breaking that fast, right? And so it's at that point that I start with my powders. Dondi has his powders earlier in the morning generally than I do. But that's what it is you can work this into your lifestyle. So throughout the day, you're going to take 4 scoops of the powder as the second part of the system with our GLP-1 activators. And so you can take all 4 of them at once if you want to, or you can break them up like we do. We take 2 at 2 different times throughout the day, and you can mix it into anything that you'd like to. It tastes great just with water. You can just mix it in with a half a glass of water and drink it down, right? Or you can mix it with Axio. You can mix it with juice. You can mix it into your smoothies with your protein powder, which is what we're going to be doing for dinner tonight, right? And so, guys, it is so, so easy to add it into your lifestyle, because I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, we have to add something else into our longevity regimen or into our lifestyle or into our whatever. Yes, you get to, but this is super, super simple, and it's going to make all the difference in the world for you. Anything else you want to add on how simple it's been for you?
Yeah, it is like beyond simple. Yeah, well, you have to remember the first thing, you have to remember to take the capsules, and then you have to remember to wait at least 30 minutes. They say it's better to wait 30 to 45 minutes, maybe even up to an hour. And then do I do 2 scoops in the morning and then 2 scoops in the afternoon. I love the flavor of this. I've tried it with lemon, the lemonade Axio.
Tastes like lemon meringue
pie. I tried it with the peach nectarine Axio. It tastes like a peach cobbler. I tried it with the sour cherry.
And the cherry limeade too.
And I like the sour cherry. It tastes like cherry pie. It's a cherry limeade. I've never tried it with, we tried it with almost every Axio flavor.
I've done it with the
And
pear because we still have some of
yeah,
the orchard
that's
pear,
amazing.
the decaf, and we've had it with watermelon. It tastes good with
It just
everything.
tastes amazing. Like
So,
Marcy said, even with water, it tastes
mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, so it's
So
super simple.
yeah, super simple. It's palatable. It's not chalky. It's really, really good.
Mhm. So the only rules is take 2 capsules first thing in the morning before any calories, and then wait a minimum of 30 minutes before you have any calories. And then you can start taking the powders how you want to throughout the day. So
Yeah,
super simple. Super
crazy
simple.
simple.
So I think yeah, that's what we had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this share. And if you're on here with us on Zoom, and if you have a question, we would love for you to unmute and ask your question. And if it's not a violation of our NDA, then we will help you with that the best way we
Yeah.
possibly can. So, and if you're on here with us on Zoom, we'd love to see you anyway. So let us see your faces. But anybody have a question?
I
Oh,
guess I have one,
Linda?
but it might not be allowed. But
Let's
so
see.
I keep watching all the successes, but I'm just curious, has anybody on the test gone through the 3 or 4 weeks and not had any results? Just wondering.
And
Or
no, not that I've seen.
I
Yeah. Not that I've seen or heard.
yeah,
There was some that, like, I would say, Jill Windish from New Jersey, they call her Jersey Jill. After I think about 10 days, she hadn't lost any weight. She was getting frustrated because she was watching everybody's weight loss journey. And she actually texted me and she was really frustrated. And she goes, I just don't think it's working. And I said, well, are you taking your measurements? And she said, no. And I said, well, I guarantee you it's working, but it all depends. And here's kind of the thing about what I love about activation. You can activate 10 different people and they may have 10 very different responses to the same activation. And here's why. This is not a medication. It's not manipulating. It is equipping your body to do what it's designed to do. And everybody's body, when it starts being activated and during that process, has its own hierarchy of importance. So whatever that person's body needs when GLP-1 is activated, whether it's to improve the burning fat to breaking down fat, which is going to yield weight loss, or is it improving the metabolism of insulin in general, which is not going to necessarily lead to weight loss, but it certainly will lead to inches lost. And when I told Jill that, she measured her inches and she's like, oh my gosh. Now she got really excited because what she wasn't seeing on the scale, she was seeing in the weight or in the measurements. And most of the time it's a combination of both. And I would say I think the minimum I've seen somebody lose was 6 pounds. And I think the most was like 16 or 17. So it's going to be, and again, every person has their own individual need when that activation cycle happens. But I've not heard or anybody talk about not having any results at all.
Yeah. So guys,
Everybody's
this is another reason why we don't want you attached to the scale, is because taking your measurements and taking your photos is where you really want to be documenting, because you will see the change and you will be able to see in the numbers, the size on the measurements, much better than you will on the scale, because the scale is not a true picture, because the scale doesn't say, oh, you've lost 5 pounds of fat and you gained 3 pounds of muscle, right? It doesn't work that way. And yet the way our GLP-1 system works is it will be targeting your fat. You will be losing fat while it's encouraging your muscle to build. So you could be gaining muscle, losing fat, and staying exactly the same number on the scale, but getting smaller.
Yeah.
Because fat is bigger in bulk than muscle is. Okay, so throw away the scales. Well, don't throw them away, but don't be attached to them.
One thing I noticed was my body's hierarchy of needs. So in the first 8 days on the cycle, I lost 6 pounds. And in the remaining 23 days, I lost 5. So,
which is freaking fantastic,
yeah.
Isn't it? In 33 days to lose 11 pounds. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then other days I felt like one day I gained 1.2 pounds and I didn't change anything. And I was like, so my body's doing something. And so, and it's like 1.2 pounds I gained one day. The next day or another time I gained 0.6 pounds. I was, in other words, 0.6 pounds heavier than I was the day before. And then I take it and I was like, now I'm down 1.2 pounds. So there was no predictability to it at all because nothing changed. Everything was extremely consistent. in what we did, but the weight scale was different. But I didn't take measurements beforehand, and I wish I would have. But when I noticed just my belt, I was 4 holes different on my belt
So
in
4 inches.
33 days. So, and I measured it was a little over 4 inches in my waist. And the funny thing is, and I was telling Marcy, is like, oh my gosh, when corporate asked me to be a speaker, I was like, I don't have any suits that fit me, and I have to go get a suit. And she goes, no, you don't. Wear one you already have. And I'm like, oh, that would be perfect because it's going to be so loose fitting. It's going to be the extra visual. So I put my suit pants on, and those were the ones I took the picture in. I had that suit custom tailored to me. And it's like it looks like my dad's suit.
Yeah,
and so
he
I'm
made
gonna
his
come
own
out on
little
stage in
pleats,
this
his own little
big old
pleats.
suit because I think it'll be a great visual, but it was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. So good. It's a great question, Linda. Thank you so much. Anybody else have a question? Mary Ellen, you're unmuted.
I do. Hi, everybody. So I think you explained it to me at one point, Dondi, but the fact that, and it keeps coming up when I'm chatting with people, do you have to be on this forever, or can we wean off and then kind of jump in and out as we see it, we might need it?
Great question.
Yeah, really, really good question. So I don't know what the official corporate answer to that is going to be, and I'm sure it's going to be asked, but because I've been asked that too, and what I've found and what my plans are until I hear some strategy that's going to supersede this, is that get to the target weight. But this is not an alternative to a drug. Because when you understand what carbohydrates, fats, and proteins are, and you understand what the macros are and the micros, the micronutrients, and you have a good command of how you give your body the things that it needs, then it's a lifestyle. So this is going to allow people to either A, get their weight loss goals, and then once they get there, this is my suspicion, because there's a lot of stuff, and this is one of the things about being on the scientific advisory board and being on an NDA, but also being with a company that's publicly traded. There's a lot we literally don't know, and this is one of them. So I foresee, unless something changes, what I'm going to plan on doing this is taking it, but maybe going from taking it every day until I get to my target weight or my target body weight or target measurements, whatever it is, or my target level of fitness. And then I'll probably take it every third day. And just to make sure that GLP-1 is optimized, because it's not just the food thing, the gut-brain axis. There's anti-aging and longevity things that come along with GLP-1. But also here's the scenario. When people have a very good relationship with food, they tend to make GLP-1 naturally anyway. But because it's a hormone, because we rely on our body's efficiency, no matter what our body makes naturally, it gets less and less efficient at doing it as we age, which is why we are the activation company. Because if you can eat a good, healthy, nutritious, balanced diet and you get good hydration, your positive mindset, you're getting good rest, and you're getting good movement and exercise, you would think all your body's working properly. And for the most part, it is. But those activation pathways, whether it's NRF1, NRF2, NAD, collagen, or now GLP-1 in the future moving forward, all of them get less and less efficient as we age. So when we can turn them back on in a natural way, in an herbal way that doesn't have side effects and doesn't have synthetic drugs, we're going to be better off. So it's an answer that's in the development stage, and I think we don't have an official answer yet, but I'm suspecting it's going to be something like that. Take it intermittently, or every 2 days, every 3 days, or take it for a month and then don't take it for a month, or something like that, I'm assuming.
Because I'm not ever going to stop it, because I am loving the benefits I'm getting in my brain and just all the way around with my sleep and with everything. Not to mention that we have cut back our grocery bill enough to be able to pay for these products. So it's not going to cost us any more out of pocket. So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that we already have the most affordable GLP-1 option out there that is natural, that activates our body, and you're going to be able to pay for it with what you're not eating, because you aren't going to have those cravings for the snacks. You're not going to have those cravings for the things that are not good for you. And your brain, you're going to be rewiring your brain to think about what you're eating, because you know that you need to fuel yourself, because you're not going to be hungry like you thought you were before, which was just a figment of tricks being played on you. So, I mean, literally, it's like when we go to eat, I'm like, okay, how can I pack more protein into this? And so
Right.
learning the different tips and tricks to be able to pack more protein into what we're eating so that we're getting the things we need to protect our lean muscle and to protect obviously good fats and everything for our brain and for our heart and for all that stuff. So, I mean, guys, we really only know this much of the benefit that's going to be coming from this.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well,
Great.
my question was going to be pretty much what Mary Ellen asked, so you answered that very well. The other thing is, how about people that are on certain medications, whether it's something for MS or blood pressure, any contraindications with that? I would think not, but has it been out long? Well, it hasn't been out long enough for people to really say, oh, 3 years later, this is what I experienced. So any thoughts on it leading into it?
Great question.
Great question. And I'm glad you asked the question, because here's something: when people do ask that question, most of the time they don't truly understand what activation is. And so when the systems of your body are activating and working normally, there is no contraindications to normal body physiology. But we're so conditioned, can I take this with this, or can I take this with this? Because we're kind of looking at this option or this system as an option for Ozempic or Trulicity or Wegovy or all those other things. So when we think about what we're really talking about and what this product is going to allow us to do, is our body to work normally. There's never any contraindications to our body working normally. However, when we can flip that question around, there may be a contraindication to take a medication when our bodies are trying to work normally. It may interfere with the GLP-1 rather than the GLP-1 interfering with it. And so we have to, but we can't be flippant, we can't be critical. We have to ask the question, especially when we're talking to a person or a patient who's on a medication from a doctor. Ask the question that, one, honors the doctor and the patient relationship, and two, in asking the question, does not put the doctor in legal jeopardy, because medical doctors have zero training, almost zero training, less than 40 hours in their entire education on nutrition and supplements. So they're literally ignorant about such things. As a chiropractor, I'm ignorant in surgery and pharmaceuticals. So I can't tell a patient to take this medication because I don't have a license to do so. And if I did, I would be practicing medicine without a license, and I should go to jail. So we don't ever want to ask questions that would put an MD in jeopardy. So a situation would be, as your patient taking this medication for this reason, would it be in my best interest to stimulate my body's natural GLP-1 pathway? And then simply allow them to answer, because it's not, hey, can I take this product? Which they would look at the ingredients and they don't have malpractice protection to even answer the question yes or no. They would just have to be, unanswering about it to literally protect themselves, their license, and their malpractice. But honoring them, as your patient being treated with this medication for this diagnosis, would it be in my best interest to stimulate my body's natural GLP-1 production, or natural NRF2 production, or natural mitochondria production, or whatever the question, or whatever activation protocol we're talking about our product. So we're not, one, jeopardizing the doctor's very right to practice, or intimidating them with a question that may perceive that it's going to make whatever they're prescribing to the patient unnecessary. So it's kind of a fine line, but it's a great question to ask. And there's some questions that we don't know, because when we handle it that way, there's no possible way to know whether our products are going to be contraindicated with a certain medication that's prescribed. And it's always in the best interest of the doctor who prescribed it to answer the question, as opposed to us as consultants, or even putting it in the patient's hands, where they can make a decision on their own and end up in the ER. I've seen patients say, well, I'm going to take Protandim, but I'm not going to take my medication anymore. 2 days later, they're in the ER. They made a unilateral decision without talking to their doctor or anyone else. And Protandim doesn't take the place of medications. None of our products do. They're designed to make the body work better. And when the body works better, there's usually no contraindications, unless there may be a specific situation based on a disease or a process that the doctor's treating it with. So hopefully that answered the question. But we've got to be careful.
And one kind of offset of that, good friend of mine who's had a kidney transplant is on anti-rejection drugs. I know he's not allowed to take Protandim. Do you think this would fall in the same category, or is that to be determined?
I would say it's not in the same category. One, because it's not, the GLP-1 pathway doesn't really involve the kidneys. And so it involves the intestines, involves the liver, it involves the pancreas, and it involves the stomach, but it really doesn't involve the kidneys, because the kidneys get out liquid waste, and the bowels gets out hard waste. So it's not even the same system. So, but it depends on if that person has some kidney sensitivity, or if they've got one kidney, they've had a transplant, or they're on dialysis. I mean, there's other specific questions. Again, right back to the patient. To, as your patient being treated with this medication, whatever, for kidney, would it be in my best interest to, or would there be any concerns about naturally enhancing my body's GLP-1 production? And kind of leave it at that, because a nephrologist is a kidney specialist. So we don't want to, and this is the thing about medicine, which is why we want to preserve the doctor's relationship, because ultimately I would love to have all the doctors that we have a question with end up being in our downline and helping, having it as an alternative to their patients or something on a more natural side. But the more advanced we get in organized medicine, the more specialized these doctors get. And they know a lot of information about a very narrow focus, which is why they're in a network and they're all talking to one another, or they don't oftentimes talk to one another, because they're very, very subspecialty. And that's great for that doctor and their intimate knowledge of whatever that is, but it can be cumbersome for patients because we don't get answers sometimes, because the doctors oftentimes don't talk to each other. And that's a whole different discussion. But yeah, great question, Rick. We've got to be really, really specific and asking the doctors, well, as your patient being treated with this, for this medication, for this reason, would it be in my best interest to stimulate my body's natural GLP-1 production? And I would say I can't think of any contraindications, but again, I'm also not a nephrologist.
And if your friend hasn't had the conversation with the doctor asking similar questions about oxidative stress, would it be in my best interest to reduce? Because there are, yes, the company's stance is that if you've had a transplant and you're on anti-rejection medication, that they do not recommend that you take Protandim Nrf2, because it stimulates an increase in your immune system. Yet there are many, many people that have had transplants that do take Protandim Nrf2, working with their doctors, with their doctor's approval. Okay. And then let's see here. Linda Grace has a question that says, if people have not been taking LV activation products, will it take longer for people to see results? And in your opinion, is it best to recommend the Nrf2 be part of the protocol?
Oh, phenomenal
questions.
So I would say the answer is yes and yes. So yes, that people that are activated already, whether it's just NRF2 or NRF2, NRF1, NAD, collagen, Axio, yes. And that is something that we have found, that the Club 55 group, which all are activated, and the original press release that came out in September, none of them were activated. So the benefits on activated people are better than the benefits of people who are not activated. And so, but
it still works amazing for people that are not activated.
Yes. So the expectation is, if you're activated, especially at the NRF2 bare minimum, it's going to be I don't know what the stack is going to be, but I can't imagine a stack that does not include GLP-1 and NRF2 for people to get started on, just the same way the Healthy Glow stack is with the collagen and NRF2.
Yeah. Great question.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Emmy, do you have a question?
What do you respond to your possible customers, that when you try to encourage them and excite them, and they will say, oh, we will wait for your results, whatever your results will be. Like I have those, like maybe 2 out of 10. I don't know what to respond, because I'm very excited. I'm like, well, no, why do you have to wait for results? How do I respond?
You know what I would do? I would say, you know what? Don't wait. Let's do this together. It's like, I would love for us to be able to track our progress together. And if you're local, you could even create an event out of it, to where you come together, you help each other with your before photos, with your measurements, and you get excited together to go on this journey. Invite them to go on the journey with you. Sometimes I think that we think when we're inviting someone, we're just inviting them to do something. But people are looking for things to do with someone else. This community is really important. So invite them to come on the journey with you. No, I don't want you to wait. It's like, let's do this together, right? Let's do this together. Because I know
I would do that.
Yeah. So just
I would do that, because I'm very excited. You see it in me, and then 1 or 2 like, oh, we'll wait for your results. And I I just don't know what to respond.
Yeah. There's also the other side. I mean, I love that approach that Marcy was talking about, because when people can go through it together, they can celebrate together. But we have enough before and afters coming in with the Club 55 group to say, you're more than welcome to wait. You can, obviously, but let me show you some before and after pictures of people that have already done this. If you want to wait for these before and afters, I can share those with you now. If you want to wait for my journey, you can absolutely do that. But why would you want to wait when you can get benefit now? And if they still push back, obviously honor them. We don't want to make them wrong, and we don't want to alienate them and miss a potential customer, or ideally even a consultant. Because one thing I know about this, the before and afters are ridiculous. And there's going to be a lot of people that start as customers and they're going to become consultants, because we've never had a population of people that is so primed globally for the results of this product than any other product we've ever had, other than NRF2. And people don't understand NRF2, but people understand GLP-1. Like most people still don't understand NRF2. Most people, whether they're on it or not, have heard GLP-1 repeatedly, and they're curious.
Yeah, all the other companies are doing commercials for us.
Yeah.
Yes, it was out in the news. They were even asking me, Emmy, your product is in the news. I said, no, it's not in the news. Came out a few days ago. I said, no, it's not in the news. But I'll let you know. I'll educate you, because you're not gonna believe, Dr. Dondi. There's a lot of my co-employees who are on injection. It's like a trend where I work. Like, oh my God.
Start asking them how much they're spending. How much you spending on that?
279 to 500.
Yeah.
So when I found out that ours is way cheaper, they were like, what? They have this expression like, okay, then I can't wait. Let's you're gonna be part of my team or something like that. So I just,
Yeah,
they're
so
just
go to all of them and say, hey, I've got an idea. Let's do this together. Let's schedule a time that we can do our before pictures and our measurements, and let's all do this together. I'll send you a link on the 11th that you can order, and then we can all start at the same day and we can start tracking together.
okay. I even showed some of your pictures, if you don't mind.
Oh, of course not.
I show your pictures.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, in the Team Freedom Reigns boards, there's a whole file that has before and after photos in there. They're in there for you to use. Everything that we put out there, our posts, anything we put out there, you guys can take it and you can use it. Just make sure that you kind of just reword it a little bit, make it your own, but use the photos.
Okay.
Use the premise
All
of
right.
the post. Let's get loud, guys. Get loud.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else before we go? Because it's been an hour. We good? All right, guys. I hope you're excited, because we're super excited.
Yeah. Last one thing, I was just reading a research study on GLP-1 and anti-aging and longevity right before we got on tonight. And the interesting thing about the body's natural GLP-1 and the synthetic that comes with all those drugs is the half-life. And what that means is, how long does it take your body to break it down? So the half-life of the natural hormone that your body produces is about 1 to 2 minutes. And so you get the sensation, the cascade happens. You don't need to keep triggering that sensation. The body gets it. But with the drugs, it's hours to days. And so it's so much longer that pathway is triggered, because it's doing it artificially and synthetically, which is why the body will eventually get to its plateau and start objecting to that manipulation. So the natural is 1 to 2 minute half-life. With the drugs, it's hours to days. So it's a major, major difference in the synthetic version that tricks the body and the natural version that your body makes, which is why it works so much better, and there's no side effects to it because you're not being tricked. It's amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Is that it?
Yeah.
He's over here. He's like tapping me so that I didn't close us out. So I just want to make sure and ask, are you done? All right, guys, we hope that this gave you some more information, really made it simple for you to understand, and gave you some ideas on how you can simply share it with other people. And thank you so much for all the great questions that you guys had. We appreciate you. We are so excited, and please make sure that you are registered for Market Connect, because this is an event that is going to really change everything.
It is.
All right, guys. Yep. Have a blessed week. Let us know how we can help you. And hey, remember, we've only got through tomorrow night, closing the month with that amazing sell. So get out there and talk to all your old customers, all your old consultants, everybody. Let them know that they can get a great deal. All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.